Hello friends, it's Nicole here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am making a snap binder using Simple Stories' latest collection, Simple Vintage Autumn Breeze. And I just love this collection so much. It's so pretty, and fall is my favorite season. So I'm going to be making an album for my sister. She's got really great pictures that work with this album, the collection itself. So to begin, I am just going to add the 6x8 adhesive sheet on the back of the 6x8 pattern paper from the pad. And I'm going to go ahead and put that down on the cover, okay, like so. And then I'm going to add the ribbon just to fill in that space on the left side of the album. I love this ribbon so much. I've used it quite a few times and it looks so pretty on the album. And I'm not going to go too heavy on the embellishments for the cover. I want to keep it simple. And so I'm going to go ahead and place the foam sticker here. And then I'm looking for something else to put on there. And I'm just looking just for something little. And the little squirrel is so cute. I'm going to pop him on here with foam strips. And then I was going to add some brads, but I decided I'm going to just put the fall decorated brad at the top of the house. And then next I'm going to go ahead and decorate the book plate. And I like to do this because that way when they're on the shelves, all my albums are lined up. I know which album is which just by looking at the book plate. And I'm going to go ahead and feed that in there. And I'm going to go ahead and add a brad on there as well. And that's pretty much it. I'm keeping it simple, super simple. So I'm looking at what to do on the inside of the back of this. I'm going to go ahead and add the cluster of pine cone. I think it's so pretty. And I'm going to just put that down using a bone folder. And then I'm going to gently peel that off. And then I'm going to glue down the chipboard fox just so that it doesn't fall off over time. Isn't he cute? Very cute. And then I'm going to cut out some more rub-on to use as a sentiment for the inside of the book. And it just says welcome fall with some hearts. I think that looks great. Alright, just a little something on the inside. And now I'm going to go ahead and move some pages around based on how I like to make my albums. And I don't always use all the note paper, but I do have a few that I like to use. And then I'm going to add some 6x8 papers in here. The larger prints are really great for like the cover of the inside of the book. So I'm going to go ahead and place the foam sticker there. And then I'm looking to add some brads on there, just to put something little there. And that's pretty much it. I was going to add a little heart, but it didn't look right. So moving along, I'm going to use the Hello Fall. This is such a pretty print. And I'm just going to add some foam stickers, and that's pretty much it. And place that in here. And the whole idea of this album is so that I'm trying to share with you how you can set up the album and give it to someone for a gift. And they can just literally pop in 3x4 photos and that's it, okay? Because I don't have any 4x6 landscape photos, this is just an easy format for this album. And then I'm just decorating the 3x4 journaling card with some die cuts. I love the squirrely. He's so cute. And I am going to add a little something here. Not too much. And move along. Moving along. And then I'm looking for the 4x6 journal card and the 3x6 or the 3x4 and the cut apart tags are my favorite. I'm going to go ahead and cut one out. And I'm going to add it to the 3x4 card. And so I'm going to go ahead and tape that down. And then I'm going to add some string. because I like to do that. It just looks nice. Alright, and then tie that and cut the ends off. And then I'm going to add a decorated brad and some enamel dots. And now I'm looking for something to add on here just to fill in some of the space. And I'm just literally moving around some things that may work. And I like this little cluster. So I'm going to go ahead and put the pumpkins down and I cut the ends off. That way they will fit in the sleeve. And then I'm using foam strips to pop up the sentiment and the die cut just to add dimension. And make sure you trim them down because it won't go in there. Alright, so mine's a little thick because of the foam, but it's okay. And now I'm going to add the chipboard piece here. And then I'm just going to leave it the way it is. I like that little print. It's so pretty, so I don't need to do anything else with that. And then I'm going to cut the pictures and put them in there. Alright, now I'm going to add the 4x6 card. I'm going to go ahead and cut 2 of them out. And then one's going to go in the front and one's going to go in the back of that sleeve. Alright, and then I like this little print. I'm going to add some flowers to the top there using foam strips. And then I'm going to cut the excess off. It's just to add dimension so it doesn't look too flat. And then I'm going to add the sentiment foam sticker and some brads. And I think I'm going to add some foam stickers here and there, and that's it. And I like this little card. So I'm going to add the foam stickers, and then that's it. Pop that in there. As you can see, it's simple. It's very simple, but I think with the right embellishments on the card, you really can make your layouts pop. Alright, so I'm going to add the chipboard on the journaling page here. And I'm going to add some of these on here just for dimension. And that's pretty much it. I'm going to add foam strips here and pop the title up at the top there. And I'm going to add some brads. Alright, and then moving along, I'm going to go ahead and decorate this pocket. I didn't think to do it, but if you wanted to, you could add a 6x8 pattern paper in that pocket and then mount it right in there to give it some pattern. But I kind of like it the way it is, the whitewash wood grain. So then I'm going to go ahead and just add the flowers here, and I'm going to cut this in half so that it has a flat bottom. And then I'm going to pop this up with the foam stickers. And that's pretty much it. And then I am going to add the heart and the scallop border just for a little touch there. Okay. And then I was going to add a title, but I'm going to add it on the left side instead with a beauty, and these are foam stickers. And then I do have another print that I love. I'm going to add that right on there, right on the back of the pocket. And then mount that right there. And then add the autumn sticker and some other stickers as well. And it's just coming along nicely. And I hope you can see how fun these albums are and how simple they are to make. So then I'm looking for something else to put up the top. I actually cut this in half for an earlier page. I'm going to just put it up there. I don't like to waste embellishments. That's a good way to stretch your die cuts. You can cut your flower die cuts in half and do what I just did. And it just makes them last longer. Alright, I'm cutting out some cards to fill in the other pockets that I have. And I'm going to put those down. I'm going to try and figure out which side is what patterns I'm going to use for what page. Right now I think I'm going to do the cones because it'll look nice in the background with this tag. And normally I would use foam squares to pop the tag up on those cards, but I'm trying not to have the album turn out to be too bulky. So I'm trying to limit that. And I'm going to add a foam sticker there. with a little enamel dot, and that's pretty much it for that. And then I need a little something for this journaling card at the top, so I'm going to go ahead and put some leaves down there with foam stickers to add dimension. And then don't forget to cut the ends off so they go back in the sleeve. Alright, and then I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do now. And I think I'm going to go ahead and make a flip page by cutting 3x4 cards so that they are connected. And then I'm going to fold both ends so that they meet in the middle. Okay, and that will create a flip page. I'm going to mount that directly onto the clear page. Okay, and that's a little flip page. And then I'm going to add a tag on the inside here. I'm going to cut this out, punch a hole in it, and then I'm going to adhere that to the back there, and then add some string. And I'm keeping it simple. And what will happen is after I get this all set up, I'm going to go back in and I'm going to mat my 3x4 photos. And then I'm also going to add some more die cuts and stickers on the photos. But this is just to show you how you can set the album up if you wanted to give it away for a gift. Okay, and then I'm popping the pumpkin down with foam squares just to add dimension. And then I'm going to add, I like the leaf, but it's a little too big. So I'm just going to add some foliage and call it a day. And then later I'll come back in and I'll put a photo in there. I just need to print some more photos. I'm going to actually use 2 different years of photos for my sister to fill out all the pages. Alright, so then I'm going to cut off another tag because I do use a lot of these in the album. Alright, so I'm going to use this one. And I'm trying to figure out what I want to put on there. I'm going to go ahead and add the chipboard leaf. And I'm looking for a sentiment. I'm going to go ahead and use a sticker from the cardstock sticker sheet. And I'm going to place it on the bottom there. And then I'm going to add some enamel dots. And that's pretty much it. And I'm going to feed some string. And I actually need to back this up with a card. I'm going to put that down. Alright, and then I'm going to put some string in there, and that will be it for that. And then I'll add a photo to the other page. Okay. Decorated brad and a little dot. Alright, and then moving along. Let's see, I am going to cut this out, and I'm going to decorate this, and I'm just going to use a large sentiment. And right now I'm trying to look through to see what I want to use with that pattern paper. And I really don't know what I want to do. I was going to do layers of tickets and then add the journaling tag and on the middle with, you know, some other flowers. But I was like, I don't like that. And then I gave up on that and I went back with my initial thought was to use the Fabulous and put some stickers on there. So I'm going to go ahead and pop some stickers down, and I'm going to use I'm going to cut that in half a little bit to add on the bottom there. Alright, and then I'm just adding some foam stickers for dimension, the heart, and I'm trying to see what else I can add on the top there. And I'm going to put a foam on that one, the die cut, and pop that up. And that's pretty much it for that. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut this. And I'm going to make a flip by cutting 2 3x4 cards so that they're connected vertically. And I'm going to pop it up there to create the flip. Alright. And then I will come back and put a picture in there. But for now I'm going to add a cluster of embellishments at the top there. And I am using the grateful sticker. And then I'm looking for a die cut cluster. And I am going to go with this. It's a little big, but it's okay. I'm going to hang that over there and cut the excess off. Alright, and that's fun. Okay, and then I added some foam stickers on the bottom there. I'm going to add a couple there with the enamel dot. And that's pretty much it. I'm trying to figure out what to do with these. I don't like that, so I took those off. And I'm just going to use the one. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and decorate the back of the album. And I'm going to cut these out, the cluster of flowers, and I'm going to put that down here. And I'm just making sure I rub one really good so that none of the rub ones peel off when I go to lift it. And then just smooth it out a little bit with your fingers. And then I added the decorated brad. Alright, and then I'm going to go ahead and create a fun bookmark by folding the note paper in half. And then I'm going to mount it together. And I'm going to use those holes to line up and punch through. And then pop that in there. So then what I'm going to do here is I'm trying to think whether I want to use stickers, foam stickers, chipboard, and then I decided I'm going to go ahead and use the rub ones because I love them and they are so pretty. So I am cutting out some of the images that I do not want to be on here, and I'm just rubbing it down here. Okay, and I'm just making sure everything is covered so that nothing breaks. Alright, and just carefully lift that film and rub on if you need it as you're pulling it, just to make sure all the images are clear. And now I'm looking for something else. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use some more rub-ons at the top to just fill in the white space. And I'm going to put that down here and make sure that that's all good. And now I'm going to add the fall. And then I'm going to add some more rub-on just to add them here and there, just to fill in that little white space here and to add more color. And then I added some enamel dots to the center of the flowers just to add some more color. And then I'm going to go ahead and decorate the back with foam stickers, and it's going to be very simple, keeping it simple. And then I am actually going to use the rub-on and I'm going to cut it. I only want part of that leaf to come through. Okay, there we go. Perfect. And then I feel like I needed something else, and I'm going to use the squirrel rub-on right there just to fill in some of that space. And super simple and cute. And then I'm going to pop that in there. And here's what we've done already, just so you have an idea. And all the blank pages there are for pictures. Okay. And I'm going to go back in there and add some pictures really quickly that I already printed out. And I was initially going to do a flip book, the 3x4, but since I don't have any horizontal photos, I went ahead and did the snap album. So I'm literally popping all these pictures in here just so you can see how easy it would be to set this album up and gift it. And they would just need to put their pictures in there. Super simple. Everything is all ready to go. I like a little bit more embellishments. So as I told you before, I'm going to just slap the photos in there just so you have an idea of how you can use this album with this collection. Okay, I'm just popping these pictures in there, here and there. And then I'm going to go back in and I'm going to cut those photos down a little bit and mat them. Okay, so then I am going through what I've already done quickly. I just love this so much, so pretty. And I actually decided I'm going to go ahead and use the chipboard frames from the Woodlands collection to make another fun page. I like playing with chipboard frames. Not all collections have these, so when I see them, I use them. I'm going to go ahead and I adhered 2 6x8 photos together, or paper I should say. Okay, and I used one of the sheets to line up the holes to punch in there. And I'm going to go ahead and place the chipboard right on there and then glue this down. Okay, and this will go right into the album as a fun insert page. And then I'm going to add some more foam stickers just to add dimension here and there, and I'm not going to overdo it. So fun. These kids are so cute. They're my sister's kids. Alright, and that's done for that one. And then I'm going to do the second one. These are the older pictures from last year, or the year prior. So I'm going to go ahead and put those in just to fill up the album a little bit. And I know my sister will love that. So I'm going to put this in there, and I'm being careful not to move the chipboard because I want it to line up right before I glue down the chipboard. And actually I'm going to use foam strips for this just to pop it up a little bit. And I didn't do it on the other side, I just glued it because I don't want it to be too bulky, but I do like to pop up the frame because it makes it look like a shadow box. Alright, and now I'm going to look for something else to add here and there. Just, I feel like it needs something, and so I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do here. I'm going to add some foam stickers, and I am going to add the rub-ons in the corner there, okay? Just to add some color in there. Alright, and then I'm looking for something else to do. And I'm just kind of moving it around to see how it would look, the embellishment. And now I'm going to go ahead and cut the sentiment out and use that up here. And I'm going to do a heart. Okay, these rub-ons, they're great. They layer nicely and they are nice quality. I cut the flower down a little bit, and then I was going to put it on the bottom, but then I ripped it. So be careful when you're cutting those flowers out of the rub-on sheet so you don't tear them like I did. But I still had a sunflower, and I added that on the bottom there. And then I am looking for, I was going to put the pumpkin in there, but I didn't have any room. So that's not going to happen. And I'm just adding some more little rub-ons here just to add a nice cluster. And you can use rub-ons right on the photo. It's fine. Alright, and then I'm going to add this here. Alright, and that one there. And then I'm looking for something to put in that corner at the right, and I don't know what I'm going to do. So I'm just looking through everything I have to see what would work without overdoing it. Because I kind of want to keep it simple, but, you know, sometimes it doesn't work out. So I like this. I'm going to cut that down just so I can tuck it in there, right, in the corner. So that works. Okay. And then I'm going to leave this large leaf die cut right larger. I'm going to pop foam on there and just let that hang off the frame. And then add some more stickers, and that's it. And that's my album. I appreciate you visiting today, and please give me a thumbs up if you like this video so that I can continue making these albums for inspiration. Thank you so much for visiting, and I hope you have a wonderful day.